March. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Using unparalleled research in the development of a synergistic formulation based around the key concepts of super oxygenation, the next level in cleansing is here. With key ingredients backed by real clinical studies, the new Oxy Powder, available through InfoWars Life, was invented during Dr. Group's research on the toxification of our bodies. Many herbal colon cleansers are harsh on the body and contain cheap and potentially dangerous ingredients, oftentimes full of synthetic fillers, GMOs, additives, or worse. Gently start cleaning your body with easy capsules that start working while you sleep. Oxy Powder does not require time off work, and there's no need for bad tasting concoctions. Instead, Oxy Powder slowly releases monoatomic oxygen into the intestinal tract and body. Experience the astonishing cleansing power of superoxide and ozonide technology. Go to InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com to get started with Oxy Powder, or call 1-888-253-3139.
Another major health threat, this one in Toledo, Ohio, where everybody in the entire city has been told not to drink the water.
Ohio's governor declaring a state of emergency.
Did you know that the average person uses about 80 to 100 gallons of water at home every single day? If there's a water emergency, will you be prepared?
Panicked residents forming long lines throughout the day.
We're here at a supermarket in Toledo. You can see the shelves empty where water once was.
To stay safe and healthy during a crisis, you must have access to safe, clean water. Water which will not be available at your local grocery store.
There's a mad dash on right now to stock up on supplies.
The ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system is a must-have for every modern, independently minded household. Protect your family's safety during an emergency. Go to InfoWarsStore.com today to purchase your ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system, or call 1-888-253-3139.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put two and two together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds. Is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
DNA Force.
When cells become toxic, they die early and aging sets in.
DNA Force.
No one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. Just one of the key compounds, BioPQQ, is backed by major clinical studies.
DNA Force.
We now have the synergistic solution. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
DNA Force.
Waging war on corruption. It's Alex Jones.
It's the Alex Jones Show live with Lionel. Your call's coming up. First, I just want to mention again, InfoWarsStore.com. We've got Oxy Powder. Again, this is a product that cleans you out while you sleep with gentle oxygen. It's not one of these harsh herbal colon cleansers. There are no nasty side effects. And again, reclaim responsibility, reclaim power over your life by becoming healthy, by boosting your immune system against all the allergies, all the toxins in the environment. This is one of a line of products that we've got here at InfoWarsStore.com. It's the only colon cleansing product with ingredients backed by real clinical studies on safety, and we've just got a new shipment in today. That's Oxy Powder, InfoWarsStore.com. Again, crucial. This is the fuel that drives the InfoWars juggernaut. Helps us out, pay for all the equipment, all the huge bandwidth costs and everything, hire new reporters, expand and dominate the mainstream media, dominate the establishment, which is what we're talking about. With Lionel, we played before the break David Cameron saying in front of the UN, non-violent extremism includes anyone who questions government narratives. And to me, Lionel, I mean, on Twitter, we often see mainstream talking heads lashing out. It's always fun to abuse them on Twitter, like I did with Keith Olbermann. But often they come to me. They lash out against InfoWars without even, being prodded in the first place. You mentioned Cass Sunstein with the cognitive infiltration, subverting the so-called conspiracy movement. This just suggests to me nothing else but how insecure they are about being challenged on any narrative whatsoever. What does it say to you about their insecurity?
Well, first and foremost, you mentioned Twitter, and a shameless plug for mine, and I tweet and retweet and favorite, and if I could do something else to add approbation to your tweets, I would, but I'm at Lionel Media, and I'm a Twitter fanatic. I think it is the pulse and the heartbeat of the world. But here is the thing I don't understand. And I don't want to just make too much out of this, but how much can I question? Let me ask again, is there a statute of limitations to that which I question? If I think there were very serious questions as to Vietnam and our involvement and the Gulf of Tonkin, which has been admitted, is that exempted? Next, how can somebody who is theoretically conversant with the First Amendment, a legal scholar at some of the best, ostensibly, legal or law schools in the nation, dare to suggest that the government, ostensibly, should be involved in quashing and quelling and basically stifling speech? As you know, Paul, the First Amendment, in fact, the Bill of Rights, only limits action when the federal government or the state government are involved in violating your law. The federal government, the state government, has to violate your First Amendment right, not individual citizens. The 13th Amendment is the only Bill of Rights, the only constitutional amendment that a private citizen can actually violate, can actually commit. It's the slavery or anti-slavery provision and variations thereof. So here we have, and just think about this, the irony of this, a law professor advocating, not boycotting, which is fine. By God, if those conspiracy theorists out there spew this bunkum, why, you tell them, fine, write your congressman, fine, petition, go ahead, nothing wrong with it. They're talking about cognitive infiltration via the government. This erases any doubt as to a First Amendment involvement in this. How can anyone not say, wait a minute, hold the press to stop, with a president who is ostensibly a constitutional professor? I mean, and this is so blatant, so pathetic, as you say, so desperate, so much of an indicium, of an indication of how this is making headway. And again, there are so many levels. The word conspiracy theorist, I love to harken back to the great Gore Vidal, who said, I am not a conspiracy theorist, I'm a conspiracy analyst. And the word conspiracy theory has been basically a code word for the unspeakable truth. And if you're a truther, how did they appropriate truther as a pejorative? How did this happen? A falser, I can understand. And if you ask any questions from, you pick the subject, we need to revolt non-violently, what am I saying? Non-extremist, but say, wait a minute, no, we are not going to do this. And the best way to protest this non-violently is to fill the airways, fill the Twitter world, the ether, the social media, with your protestations against this idea. Because remember, Paul, what you were talking about, this entire first portion of the show was how the government is not being straight with you and with us regarding Ebola. Is that a conspiracy theory? And if it is, who's conspiring? Who are the conspirators? I don't understand. You might be saying that the government's inept. The government's not doing its job. The government's dropping the ball. We need better CDC officials. We need to fund them. They're inept. That's not conspiratorial, false flag, inside job. You just might be saying, you guys don't know what the hell you're doing. It's that simple.
We're talking with Lionel, LionelMedia.com. Mercedes in Oregon. You're on the air with Lionel. Go ahead, Mercedes.
Hello, Lionel and Paul. Welcome. I wanted to say welcome to, the States, but now you're there with Ebola, so I don't know.
I don't personally have Ebola yet, but thank you.
Maybe you should be going home before there's a quarantine or something.
Maybe we'll all get locked in.
Yeah.
There are worse places to be locked in, though, I'll say that. So what's your question or comment for Lionel?
Yeah, you're definitely with good people. So, yeah, extremism, we have to exactly say no. We, not only is it info wars, but we have to do a counter-narrative. We're the counter-narrative to what they're doing. They go in front of the UN and say these horrible things, and we're just, I'm on Twitter too. I don't think I should be, attacked in any way by the government just for saying, hey, you guys aren't doing what you're supposed to be doing.
That's exactly the point. I mean...
That's precisely right.
Go ahead, Lionel.
No, that's precisely right. And Mercedes, or where I'm from, we say Mercedes, I firmly believe that not only does and I say the government, I don't even know what that means. It's not the government. There are people who work for the government. They're fine. They're great patriots and wonderful. But we use that term to speak of a few. But I don't think people realize how big this is. I'm telling you right now, when you listen to me, I know people in the conventional media, in the usual nuts and bolts, meat and potato, terrestrial, old-fashioned radio TV, and they're living in the 50s. Not the 1950s, the 50s. They don't know anything. They're the people who say, I don't understand this Twitter. I guarantee you right now, what we're saying right now lives on in a cloud, in an area that is so huge, so colossal, so, dare I invoke Gulliver, Brobdingnagian, so enormous. Mainstream media don't understand it. These people on TV who fancy themselves as being, the cable news warriors, on their best day, they don't approximate this world out there that represents far more people than anybody can understand. So what happens is, as this, and mark my words, Mercedes and Paul, one day, and I don't know when it is, but very, very soon, tomorrow, next week, somebody of note will all of a sudden say, you know what? I listened to that show, and I believe in that. And somebody will say, wow, of note. When Jenny McCarthy, bless her heart, became viewed as the point person for concerns people had in inoculation and vaccine-related diseases, that was a dark day in any kind of, by the way, vaxxer. Have you heard that, Paul? Vaxxers.
Vaxxers. That's the new pejorative.
Yes. So we need, eventually you're going to hear more people. Rosie O'Donnell, bless her heart, Charlie Sheen, they're kind of been, by virtue of a very scared media, lumped in as the standard bearers, the bellwethers of this new... No. And this is not in any way a slam or a pejorative against them. But when you start hearing people say, no, I agree with this, or I watch this, I understand this, when you start to see the Daily Shows and Colbert and others realize that what they're doing is a cutesy-fied, if that's a word, version of the mainstream media direct, when all of a sudden, like this discussion becomes cool, and people will run to it, and they will say, you mean this has been there? Yes. There are more of us than them. There was a a person one time, a dear friend of mine, who gave the expression, he says, you know, there are so many of us that we could drown